Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Grand Tactician, the Civil War. It's been a little while since my last video came out. It's been a busy week, some new stuff at work going on, and parenting and stuff, but I'm still here, I'm still chugging along, and today we're going to be continuing our Grand Tactician series. Tomorrow I'm hoping to get a video out on Carrier Command 2, the upcoming game by Microprose, the new Microprose, the sequel to an old classic. Carrier Command looks really cool, by the way. Looks like a game that is going to be a lot of fun, especially for co-op. They have some really impressive capabilities there. The game comes out on August 10th, so I'd like to get a video out a day or so ahead. So look for that on Monday, I guess. And maybe if I can finagle it, we'll do a live stream sometime Sunday afternoon. But we'll see. With that being said, today is Grand Tactician: The Civil War by Oliver Keppelmuller. The game is currently in early access, but nearing release. And this is episode, actually, not 5, it's episode number 6 of my series. And I had a little bit of a kerfuffle off camera, so I had recorded about another 15 minutes of gameplay, so not a ton. And apparently I deleted that thinking that episode 5 covered it all, which it didn't. So what did you miss? Well, you missed about a very short battle in northwest, I guess central west. I don't know. It's in Ohio. You missed the Battle of Steubenville, where a small Confederate. It was not 18,000 men that we faced. It was much smaller. But anyway, I think like 8,000 Confederates crossed the border into Ohio, and General George B. McClellan's starving Army of the Ohio, or Department of the Ohio, fought them off. And so we had about 5,000 troops, I want to say, against about 8,000 of theirs. And the Battle of Steubenville was fought. And so in that battle, the North, yours truly, triumphed. George B. McClellan won his first victory. I like that he's, not sugarcoating anything. My command has earned us a total victory. The enemy army running for their lives. The enemy has reportedly suffered a total of 898 men lost, 109 killed. Their morale is believed to be confident. Our casualties are 488 men with 55 killed, 88 missing, and the rest wounded. So if you can include missing and killed, the Union actually lost more permanent casualties, potentially, depending on what the missing figure is for the Confederates, despite considerably lower losses total. Morale's confident, supply situation mediocre. We also captured 333 rifles from the battlefield, so I would guess actually they had quite a few men missing. So that's the Battle of Steubenville. This army of the Northwest is retreating, and McClellan is hanging out here. Although his supply situation isn't great, his provisions have improved, so he's no longer starving. He's got 98% provisions with 100% forage for his horses and 85% rifle ammo after that last battle. Apparently, many soldiers in this unit are unhappy with their leadership, and many are deserting. Veterans are happier with commanders that have high fame. So George B. McClellan his fame is legendary. So why are they not happy? Maybe some of his subordinates? I'm not sure. But one other big thing occurred since the last episode, and I just noticed this now. I didn't even notice it in the last episode. The Army of the Tennessee is invading Kentucky. So about 8,300 Confederate soldiers, 27 guns, appear to be marching through the heart of Kentucky. They've already gotten to Munfordville. They've taken that town. They've taken Bowling Green. They've marched right through Hopkinsville and are crossing into central Kentucky. So not really been paying attention there. They're on their way to Louisville. And that's not great for us because these are some actually pretty important towns. They have some important factories. They have some important river crossings. This is a threat to us. And so I do have an army positioned in Ohio to potentially threaten them, the Army of the Ohio under Don Carlos Buell. But it's a pretty small force. It's only about 4,000 troops. I think it's 2 brigades of soldiers if we take a look at this army organization. Yeah, there's 2 brigades. We probably should form it into a division, so let's go ahead and do that. It looks like James Shields is going to be the division commander just sort of automatically, so I'm not going to bother changing that. Then we'll go ahead and put Mansfield's brigade, Colonel Mansfield and Colonel Willis Gorman, both under the command of Shields. But we need more than 4,000, or I guess this is only 2,000? Yeah, 4,000 troops. I'd like more than 4,000 troops to counter the Confederate invasion. So we're going to do something a little nifty here. Steubenville seems like the Confederates are going to be on the retreat there for a little while. So let's do this. Let's see if we can use the game's transfer mechanism. So let's go and look for McClellan's army here. Where is it? Did I pass it already? There it is, McClellan. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and take, I guess, some of his troops. We're going to look for some of the stronger units. So not the West Virginia Brigade, because they lost about 122 men, only have about 1,300 men. But we're going to take the 4th Brigade with its 2,400 men under Colonel John Abercrombie. We're going to go ahead and transfer them under Shields' command. That'll give us an additional brigade and 2,000 troops. It'll take 6 days for them to get there. And we're going to take the 1st Artillery Battery under Denver and put them under Shields as well. And so I think they're going to use rail lines to go ahead and transfer there. We'll have to see. But it says it's going to take 6 and 8 days respectively. We'll see how far the Confederates can march in those days. But yeah, so that's the first thing we're going to do here, and then we'll kind of, I guess, kick it off. We do have some policies that we're currently in the middle of. We're working on printing notes. We're 3 days away from that. Our financial situation is pretty dire, a negative or an A- credit rating, but we're like $100 million in the red. I think my surplus is closer to like $60 million in the red when I look at the finances, or $80 million in the red. So not a great financial situation right now. I'm going to keep going down the financial routes. I mean, I don't really want to extend this beyond 3 days, but I think what we're going to do next is we'll probably work on government funding too, to try and improve our credit rating. I need to figure out ways to make more money without directly managing the economy, because I don't really want to do that. But yeah, so the war is expensive. So that being said, we also have made some progress in the Coastal Expeditionary Force. We took the Confederate port of Onocock, and then we also took the town of Drummondtown. But now the small force here is low on supply under Major General John Keenly. And I think what we'll consider doing is maybe lining up an invasion of the coast in Virginia or North Carolina at some point soon. One of the other things we have going on as well is the Department of Pennsylvania is currently in the process of advancing on Richmond from the foot of the Shenandoah Valley. So you can see here, we've got about 14,000 men, 22 guns. They've got 100% supplies, but they're going to be detaching from their supply route and advancing on Richmond from the west. To that extent, we should probably build another depot. So why don't we go ahead and build a supply depot to support that advance? Did that not click? There we go. Okay, yeah, so we'll build a depot there at the foot of the valley. We've driven back the Confederates in Ohio, and we've also started transferring McClellan's troops to the Army of the Ohio under Don Carlos Buell to stop the Army of the Tennessee. In Missouri, we've pretty much liberated that state from the Confederate clutches. I think every town in the city or in the state is now Union, but we don't have the requisite supply and support to advance into Arkansas at this time. There is a Confederate force of about 2,700 troops in sort of near the Arkansas River, and it looks like there's another force, the Western Army, coming up of about 3,500 troops. So we probably should also build a depot for these guys as well. And then we may also want to consider build a fort too. That's interesting. But we may want to consider adding some troops to the Department of the West, because Missouri, despite the fact that we've liberated that state, is woefully thin on troops right now. With that being said, I think the real focus is going to be Kentucky this turn, I would think. So we'll go ahead and unpause and see how things go here. Move to ×20 speed, see if we get any intel on the Army of the Tennessee moving. That was as of June 30th, so that was, looks like it is moving slowly. July 1st report here. So we've got some intel of this army moving. The Army of the Northwest? I'm guessing that's these guys? Yeah. All right. Meanwhile, McClellan has pulled back to, or he's staying at Steubenville. We have a supply depot in range now, so he's got supplies there. The troops have left his army and are in the process of transferring to the Army of the Ohio under Buell. And it looks like the infantry's already arrived. That was really fast. I think it was faster than it predicted. So Abercrombie's here. That's why he's green, but Denver's artillery's not there yet. So we'll advance into Kentucky to engage the Confederates once they arrive. Louisville is being threatened, though. Meanwhile, I'm guessing McClellan's arrived at destination. Union issues war bonds monthly economic report. So the current rating of the nation is BB+, which is poor. Our debt increased by 20 million. Our liabilities are 144 million. Our economy is expanding, but the wealth of people is low and decreasing. Tax revenues increased by 9.3 million. 12 companies were founded, 2 farms, 2 foundries, 5 ironworks, and 2 factories, 1 mill. Okay. All right, well, can't always make everybody happy, I guess. So the economy may be trash, but we got to win the war, so. I did not tell them to go there, did I? Oh, oops. Army of the Ohio is apparently moving. Okay, so the Union is printing new notes, new greenbacks flood the market, and inflation is expected to soar. So we did finish that policy. Let's go in here. And I think the next policy I want to research, we could go printed notes too, but I'd rather not do that quite yet. So let's go with government funding or confiscation act. Can we do multiple? If we do confiscation act, it's 27 days. Government funding, 49 days. So this is going to be 58 days. And 105 days? Jesus. So when in any scenario would you ever research multiple policies at once? That's what I don't really get that. Because, I mean, you could have them all come out at once, or you could just stack it one at a time as I've been doing and get things more quickly. 27 days for confiscation act. I just want to improve our goddamn economy. Let's do the breadbasket policy. And industrialization. So industrialization is going to take 58 days. Breadbasket's 58. So we'll get 2 things in a month. So that actually scales okay, because that's getting 2 things at once rather than 1 thing at 30 days basically and 1 thing at 30 days. So that works. All right, Army of Tennessee's there, July 3rd. Army of the Ohio, where's your artillery at? You may just have to go without the artillery because I don't want to lose Frankfort in the capital of Kentucky. So we'll advance there. Meanwhile, how are the guys in Virginia doing? All right, so the coastal army is low on supplies. They're starving. I mean, they're right on a port. They should have supplies. But I guess they can move back to Washington. Confederates aren't going to advance across the Chesapeake. They don't have the sea lift. Army of Northeastern Virginia, how you guys doing? 100% supplies. Provisions are at 100. Forage is at 100. And ammunition is at 94. Readiness is still kind of low, so we've got to wait to get that back up. So that's going to be a little while still. 33 days. Meanwhile, the Department of Pennsylvania is moving on Richmond. There was North Carolina State Militia somewhere around here that I think was coming up. Curious how these guys are going to do. They're just marching on Richmond, just merrily on. There's got to be an enemy army in Richmond, right? That's the Confederate capital. Okay, we're up to July of 61, July 6th of 61. We're closing in on the capital. The provision situation is not great. decreasing, but we're going to be in the rear of the damn enemy army, and we're going to be taking the enemy capital. North Carolina State, or South Carolina State Militia here, 22,000 troops. Look like they're on their way up. Potentially we're going to have a fight here. Before they arrive, though, let's go back and look real quick at Kentucky. Patterson's at his destination. He's near Richmond. Oh, don't do that. Okay, the Army of the Ohio is approaching the Army of Tennessee. And their artillery's here. Good. So we're up to 7,000 troops. The enemy has about 8,000. We've got 14 guns. They've got 27, but might meet here in central Kentucky for a little bit of a fight, a little bit of a kerfuffle. Any other Confederate invasions? Just the Army of the Tennessee. Okay. These guys finished building their depot yet? 10 days. Okay. And McDowell's not really ready yet. Okay, so we're going to hold near Richmond. We're in the process of capturing the city. 70% in our hands. We're going to get a battle here? We are. 14,000 men of the Department of Pennsylvania versus 22,000 men of the South Carolina State Militia. So the enemy outnumbers me by about 50%. And they've got more than double my guns. So this is a chance for maybe the Confederates to do better. Looks like PGT Beauregard is in charge. So maybe the AI will have a competent fight in it today. Okay. Get to use up some of our ammo, maybe. So we've got 1,600 cavalry, 12,000 infantry, 337 men in the artillery, 557 sick. They've got 1,500 sick, 950 men in their artillery, but they have no cavalry. Oh, that means they have 25,000 infantry. So almost outnumbering us 2-1, actually, based on the last aggregated report. So they're trying to save Richmond, huh? The Union troops have fought a battle before. So they actually have better fame, better leadership. No, leadership's better on the Confederate side. Initiative's better on the Confederate side. Administration's about even. Cunning's better on the Confederate side. All right, so we are on the defensive. The Chickahominies down here. So this must be a map for the 7 days. Because you've got New Cold Harbor, Old Cold Harbor, Mechanicsville. The main problem I have here is, if I'm on the defensive, why am I deploying my army at the start of this battle? Deploy it for me so the enemy knows where I am, and then let them attack me. Or at least give me like a ridge line to hold. It's just a weird way to... Because like I'd rather anchor myself to the heights and other things like that, but I don't know where to defend. A lot of woods here. Where's a good place to defend? I don't even know. We could advance down here on this objective. Maybe advance down toward Beaver Dam Creek and trying to defend that water, that river line. Even though technically I'm on the defensive. Confederates come on the map where? Down over here? I don't know. We'll just deploy there. Go down to Shady Grove Road. And then let's send our cavalry, which we have some of, right? What division are they under? Are they just directly under Patterson? All right, 1st Cavalry, you go down to the Bethesda Church on the right flank. They'll guard the right flank, and then I think I'll just advance the 2nd Division under Chem down here to the Dam Creek Road to guard this. There's some nice heights down here, so they can hold down there. And the 1st Division is moving in toward this objective. Gotta hope they don't come out up via Mechanicsville, but assuming this map is right and that the enemy is going to come on the map down here, they're probably going to march up this way. Okay. So go ahead and speed things up. I'm assuming we'll take Shady Grove. Yep, we did. Okay. Cavalry's headed down that way. Like, I don't have any indication where the Confederates are coming up. So that's the other weird thing is like, you're on the defensive, but it's kind of like, not really. Let's get down here. There's some nice open fields down here toward the old church road. And cavalry taking this objective? Slowly. How about we move some artillery down to support the cavalry and then move the other battery out this way. Abner Doubleday, good old Abner Doubleday of Gettysburg fame. All right, we're going to move the 2nd Division across the Beaver Dam Creek into these open fields near the old church road. I like my chance to hold firm against Confederate militia, especially if there aren't really a lot of... I mean, they may not have good weapons. All right, so our cavalry took the Bethesda Church. Like, where are these guys? All right, get down there. None of these objectives have turned red, so presumably means they're marching but not stopping anywhere. This is a pretty big map. You guys go down here. I don't know why I'm dividing my army so much when... Probably not wise. Oh, they're down here near Old Cold Harbor. So perhaps consolidating on Johnson Fields. Although that would let the enemy come up with some good wood lines. All right, once we take this objective, I'll form the army up over here on the right. So the question is, where does the AI decide to go? I'm a little spread out. So the 1st Division is going to form up on this objective. Problem is they should probably be in the woods, right? Not in the open. The enemy follows the roads. They'll come up this way. Or, yeah, they'll probably come up to the right flank, maybe. What are these guys doing back here? Are these guys not attached to anyone? No, they are. They're attached. All right, go to Gaines. Okay. Where are the goddamn rebels? I mean, it says I'm on the defensive, but what position am I defending? All right, I'm going to send the 1st Division down here to Gaines Mill Pond. It's almost nighttime, isn't it? Yeah, it's 1800 hours. First cavalry over here to this objective. That's 22,000 men crammed in a very small portion of the map. Hopefully we can take this objective before nightfall. I don't think any serious fighting is going to occur before nightfall. All right, so they've taken this objective over here. So they are probably moving up on the right. Oh, we spotted them. It is just shy of 8 o'clock. No, I can't do math. Just shy of 7 o'clock. Get up on these heights. 1st Division. We spotted them down here near New Cold Harbor, near Gaines's Mill. Actually kind of works. We could catch them on the flank. So we're going to move down here toward Gaines's Mill. You can see their brigades coming up here. No firing yet, just sort of visibility. Just some visibility on where they are at, where they're at. Cavalry's taking New Cold Harbor. Artillery and infantry up here moving around. Patterson will move your command down this way. Looks like we also have a battery of artillery up here. Use these heights. So we've got a whole bunch of Rebs organized near Gaines's Mill. Lee, is that Robert E. Lee or Fitzhugh Lee? Looked like it was cavalry, so probably Fitzhugh. Meanwhile, we just took Gaines's Mill. Maybe it is Lee. Robert E. Not sure. In any event, we're in a little bit of an exposed position down here. But the enemy doesn't seem to want to attack. They seem to want me to attack them. Which I'm not going to do at 7:30 at night. Sunset's when? Not sure. But they're forming up a double line. So again, the game says you're on the defensive, but really we're not. So it wants me to attack a line of 22,000 men. Okay. Can we just wait for sunset then? Because they obviously massively outnumber me. And I don't think I want to attack this line. Nice good line for the Confederates, but I have no desire to attack it. Okay, so my strategy here is just to wait for daylight, I think. The Confederates have put together a nice, imposing defensive line that I think will be very tough for me to crack. I mean, I can try and flank them, but that's going to be a tough line to crack. That's an impressive little line the AI has put together. But where are they going? They're just going to march across my front? They're going to go fall back to here? You guys, you had me stopped. Where are you going? Just because my cavalry took this northern objective, you're like going to go overwhelm my cavalry? I'm very confused. It's almost 9 o'clock, by the way. Come on. Give me night. I don't want no Prussians. They're going to go try and overwhelm my cavalry all by itself. Look at the entire enemy armies moving out that way. Darkness has fallen. All right, how do we want to deploy these guys? I guess my cavalry is not some... Do they just automatically move? That's confusing. So this green circle, or not green, this blue circle is where I can deploy these guys. Basically just within the command radius of Patterson. Okay. So we're going to do we do a double line or do we do a single line to extend our force? Now, the nice thing in this case on Gaines's Mill is we've got our flank covered by a river in theory. Caldwell can he deploy out to here? No. Okay. Cavalry can cover his flank. That's some good artillery heights, I would think. We have another battery around here somewhere, don't we? Oh, we had two. There we go. 24-pound howitzers under Doubleday. We'll go ahead and put these guys on this nice height. They can hit these guys on this roadway. Meanwhile, we've got these 12-pounders are on the flank supporting our cavalry. And I guess we'll see where the AI deploys itself. So, like, they're going to march up and around our flank, I guess? Are they going to try and attack me? That would actually be nice if they did. Or are they just going to march across my front? So if they're going to march across my front, I will just send my 2nd Division out to advance. Just go ahead and engage the tail of this enemy column. Maybe it'll pull them back toward me. AM of the 2nd day, but not really the 2nd day. Meanwhile, I'm guessing they're moving toward the Lua Church up here. Let's get up on slightly better ground. We'll get up on this high ground here. Leave the cavalry and artillery on our flank. So I'm going to assume they're going to come through this cut. All right, let's get guys moving. Can you not shoot at these guys? All right, so we're engaging one of the enemy brigades here, the South Carolina Militia. We'll engage them with the entirety of this division. See if that triggers them to pull back into line. Where are these guys going? They're not outflanked. You're nuts. There's nobody shooting at your flank. You didn't even lose a man. All right, so they're still marching up and around. We'll have to move these guys up to support our cavalry. Unfortunately, our cavalry is only armed with mixed cavalry weapons, which probably won't make them great skirmishers. Artillery's firing on some of these lead enemy skirmishers. So I guess because they've got terrible weapons, I'll leave them in the saddle. Guess I'll have to move my artillery closer. They're not doing anything up on that hill. Okay. So we've got Neagley's brigade engaged, Winthrop's brigade, and the 3rd Brigade all engaged against the South Carolina militia. The enemy's lost over 400 men so far. We've lost not even 100, I don't think, or close to 100. The enemy has not halted their advance. Maybe they're forming one of their rear brigades into line, but they haven't actually halted their advance around our flank. These Confederates look like they might somehow outnumber or outrange me. Skirmishers? Artillery's firing into the skirmishers' flank. I'll bring my cavalry up to maybe shoo these skirmishers off a bit. But this enemy brigade, we've broken the South Carolina militia here, inflicted over 650 casualties on them. Keep firing into them. I don't care if they're running. Give them volley fire, boys. Go take New Cold Harbor. Maybe that'll trigger the AI to reverse its march. Alright, the skirmishers are being driven back. I'm going to keep to the wood line here and advance with 2 brigades. And then maybe bring a 3rd brigade up also. We'll swing these guys back around. This artillery, bring in a little bit closer. I don't know what I'm doing with my cavalry here. Probably shouldn't be. What are you guys doing? Mixed cavalry weapons firing into an enemy brigade of probably better armed infantry. But we've got our troops up there moving in. The enemy's not formed up. Again, they had such a good, pretty line. The AI did a good job forming it, and then they just abandoned it. All right, go take New Cold Harbor. Maybe the enemy will try and stop you. So we stove in their rear. With minimal losses, wrecking an enemy brigade. Situation in the north, not quite as pretty. My cavalry's getting shot up a bit. 66 losses. Losing more men than the enemy up there. But we're moving some infantry up to support the cavalry. And in cover. Artillery up a little bit to slightly better ground. Cavalry's holding the flank here, stopping the enemy advance around our own flank. Just for the moment. And we're advancing on New Cold Harbor. I don't know why these guys are running. No reason to move at the double quick, boys. In fact, why don't you just order the entire division to form up in a line, and then we'll try and crush their flank. Right, meanwhile in the north, a ripple of musketry there. Cavalry's losing a fair number of men. They're inflicting some losses on the enemy. You don't need to advance that far. You're already in range. Just turn your line. What a little mess. Every one of these battles turns into an utter mess in this game. Nothing's ever pretty. Which, I mean, I guess is reflective of the real Civil War, but nothing even feels as remotely pretty as, like, the engagements that happened in the Civil War. Always feels like a mess. Alright, this cavalry is getting shot up now. It's just taking some artillery fire now. 300 casualties. Alright, so these guys are going to run soon. Just fire volleys at them. Like, what are you doing? Give them the long range, boys. no reason to engage close range like that. This is not a good situation to be in. Giving the enemy artillery my flank almost, or enemy infantry my flank. But firing into the flank of Cheatham's brigade. Maybe it'll be enough to save the cavalry. At the expense of the 3rd Brigade. They're nervous. Yep, they're already withdrawing. They're broken. Great. They barely lost any men. They lost 100 men. These cavalry are standing way more firmer than the damn... These guys didn't even get a volley off. They're still at 60 ammunition. Pathetic, boys. Pathetic. Why are you shooting at that brigade? Shoot at Cheatham's. Go charge that enemy artillery. Take them out. Bring this brigade up. And we're going to push one brigade out to the right to keep those militiamen on that flank going. Bring the other 2 brigades up. And some artillery. Go try to rally those boys. Patterson. Alright, this brigade is getting shot up too, aren't they? Well, it says they're stable, but they're broken now also. They lost 180 men. Williams Brigade's going too. Well, that entire northern division is gone. Just the cavalry are holding firm. They're the only ones. Them and the artillery. This is not going well. We're gonna lose. I mean, I know I'm criticizing the AI for maneuvering the way it did. I would have just liked a straight stand-up fight, something pretty. But I guess at the end of the day, they're gonna be the victors, so... Almost 600 casualties for our cavalry. Inflicted over 400 on Cheatham. Alright, there goes the cavalry. Yeah. Alright, so we'll order that artillery to retreat to keep them together. Meanwhile, we've got 2 brigades in the south. God, how did they break after 50 casualties? That's very frustrating. Alright, we still have our southern division. Not going to be enough to hold off against 20,000 men, but maybe we'll inflict some losses on them. Destroy some of their artillery. Alright, we'll speed things up a little bit. We're going to fire volleys into the enemy artillery here. Our own artillery is now in action. And we destroyed that enemy brigade, or battery. Good job, boys. Alright, go attack that other battery. Whose division is hit this? Oh no, you're... Try and rally your boys, because they're running. You know, Kelm's division's doing reasonably well. Got Neagley's brigade coming up, so we're pushing their flank with 2 brigades in the south here. Mostly just because they didn't have any infantry support, and so we're hitting some enemy artillery that was in the open. Go engage these guys. This infantry will be on our flank, but what can you do? Actually, can you engage that enemy infantry? They're going to be approaching your flank, so you're going to want to turn and push them. Turn and engage them. Oh, they broke. Man, the infantry, my infantry do not stand and fight very well. Really should engage at longer ranges. I should have changed that engagement range toggle sooner. All right, so they're going to fire into the flank of Grattan's brigade. We've still got 2 brigades of infantry left. So they drove Grattan off. Now we just wrecked this enemy Walker's battalion or battery of artillery. Grattan's brigade's over 400 casualties. We're going to lose this battle, but my goal at this point is just to take as many Rebs with me as I can. We also have this battery of artillery out here just blasting away. Both of our artillery batteries doing a pretty good job here, putting shot on target. Oh, there goes Winkrup's brigade. Neagley is engaged in volley fire. Their morale sucks though, because the rest of the army is coming apart. $700 versus 100. Like, these casualties aren't even close in the engaged units, and my men are probably still going to run. Maybe that's realistic. Like, if the entire army's coming around you, you're probably not going to stand and fight. I know we're playing on ×5 speed, so things are happening quickly. Meanwhile, our artillery just drove back Bragg's brigade all by themselves by the looks of it. I guess Bragg was stuck between 2 batteries. Wreck these routed men. They're fragmented and retreating. Oh no, you're in melee now, aren't you? Retreating elements. Never mind. Oh, they also routed Cheatham's brigade, which had lost quite a bit to the enemy cavalry too. So right now it's tilting toward a Union victory. That's got to just be based on the objectives held, right? The enemy's retreating. Oh my god. My army's in disarray. I have 1 brigade of infantry left and 2 batteries of artillery, and the enemy's retreating. Okay, I'll take it. I mean, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do in pursuit. Some of my troops have rallied, it looks like. Williams brigade. Looks like most of them have rallied, actually. Good job, boys. So we just defeated a massively larger enemy army than us. What brigade was that? Oh, those Braggs. They retreated right into you, didn't they? It wasn't war, it was murder. I'm sure that's how the veterans of this battle will feel. There you go. We win a minor victory near Richmond. So we lost about 1,000 men. That was by far our worst in terms of casualties, I think, so far in any fight we've done. 1,600 men total, 641 cavalry, almost a third of our, better than a third of our cavalry force, 970 infantry in the Battle of Richmond. The enemy lost over 3,000 infantry, though. Our cavalry and artillery really did work there, and then 1 or so brigades for our infantry. The rest of our infantry didn't do so hot. Meanwhile, they lost 45 of their 65 guns, so we did do a good job of ravaging their guns. And we didn't lose any of our guns, so that's a pretty good result there for us as we bump out of the Battle of Richmond. I don't know how Battle of Richmond, defending Richmond from relief is a minor victory. That's what I don't really understand with this game, is how, like, every battle seems to be a minor victory. But, yeah, Colonel Morgan's bad performance drops him in disgrace. We could probably replace him if he's in our army. I'm not sure. National morale for the enemy drops by almost 1%. Our military experience rises by 1%. Most of the troops just fought their second victory. It was a narrow victory. That's an accurate statement by the paper. Let's actually go back in and see what the post-battle write-up is by General Patterson. The Battle of Richmond ended with the South Carolina State Militia retreating in panic. My command has earned a total victory with the enemy running for their lives. The enemy has reportedly suffered a total of 3,423 men, 521 killed, 0 captured. The morale is believed to be stable. Our casualties, 1611, 367 killed, 242 missing, the rest wounded. Supply situation's mediocre, and we captured over 1,100 enemy rifles and 14 guns from the battlefield. So Richmond's gonna be ours, if it isn't already. Can't really see. Telegraph station isn't. Now we're at 81%. So Richmond is going to be ours in a moment, boys. But yeah, big victory there. Robert Patterson's fame, legendary for sure. The capture of Richmond and a grand flanking maneuver down the Shenandoah Valley and up the enemy flank. Although apparently they took Charlottesville and it's his rear, so he has no real supply line anymore. They also apparently retook Staunton somehow. With what troops, I don't know. We don't see any indication of enemy army there. It just diverted to Confederate control. And we're about to fight a battle in Kentucky, I think. The enemy army of Tennessee, about 9,300 troops, and our army of Ohio, about 7,000 troops, closing in near Frankfort. But that will be for another time. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Grand Tactician, the Civil War. A bit of a mess, but, you know, that seems par for the course. I guess it fits for the Civil War to be a little bit of a mess. Hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Let me know your thoughts below. And until next time, this is the Historical Gamer, as always, saying thank you very much for watching. And until next time, I'm out.